بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده المنتجب ورسوله المرتضى وأشهد أنكم الأئمة الراشدون المهديون المعصومون المكرمون اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
The first misgiving is, or the misconception, misunderstanding is, when it comes to usul-e-deen and aqaid, and you all know what the usul-e-deen is, the principles and the fundamentals of the religion, as opposed to branches of furu'-e-deen. When it comes to usul-e-deen, is it permissible to follow anyone doing taqlid, as we are doing taqlid in furu'-e-deen? We have our Marja. Can we have our Marja also in usul-e-deen or not? The misgiving, misconception, misunderstanding is that they say when it comes to usul-e-deen, you cannot follow anyone. You have to do your own independent research to find out about Tawhid, Ma'ad, Nubuwah, imamah, Ad, and even the details of anything that is related to usul-e-deen. It is not permissible to get it from anyone else. The proof of that, numbers of ayat in the Quran that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is blaming and condemning the Arabs of Jahiliyyah, the idol worshippers especially at that time, that when they were approached that, what is this that you are doing, that you are prostrating before these idols? They said, we found our ancestors doing so and we are following them. This is the tradition that we have received from our ancestors and we are following that tradition. Quran answers and condemns that. I'll come back to the ayah later on. This misconception and misunderstanding is wrong, and inshallah I want to quickly clarify it and correct it. First of all, on the issue of whether it is acceptable to follow or have a marja or not on usul-e-deen, there is a disagreement, paradoxical, call it paradoxical disagreement among our scholars. Paradoxical, it means seemingly disagreement. But in reality, there is no disagreement, as I will quickly explain it to you. What you have heard that when it comes to usul-e-deen, you cannot follow others and you cannot take it from others, it means you cannot take it from any Tom, Dick and Harry, as we say. But to take it from an expert, as far as what you hear, when, for example, you read a book on usul-e-deen, and you read the argument of the author, and you are convinced with the argument, and you are comfortable, and you are confident, or you reach even certainty, that is fine. That is absolutely fine. You don't need to be a philosopher. Impossible that Quran, Islam is expecting every single member of the community to be a theologian and a philosopher on usul-e-deen, to be able to know all the issues on usul-e-deen. It doesn't work like this. The same analogy, the same reason that we use in furu'-e-deen, and hence we follow a marja as an expert, applies when it comes to usul-e-deen as well. You go to the Risale, therefore, of Imam Khomeini, rahmatullah alayhi, Ayatollah Sistani, and other Marja, you see that they all say, as long as you have insight, you have basirat, you have confidence and itminan, or you have reached yaqeen on the matter of usul-e-deen, you are safe. How you have gained that knowledge, it doesn't matter. Marhum Shaykh Al-Ansari, one of our very renowned and eminent scholars, that no one today becomes mujtahid unless they have studied and well know his literature. He says, when we look at the evidence, ayat and riwayat, all what they require us as far as the usul-e-deen is concerned, is that you need to be mutma'in, you need to be confident. Why is it that there is only one God? Why is it there is day of judgment and hereafter? Why is it that there is nubuwah and imamah? They don't tell us that you have to do your independent research, otherwise it would be impossible. For ordinary people, it's impossible. So those who come up with these misgivings and say that, hey, in usul-e-deen you cannot follow the scholars, you have to do your own research, indirectly, if you read between the lines, they are telling you that don't listen to our eminent majority scholars, listen to me. And this is definitely wrong. The ayah that I quoted, now I want to finish the rest of it. Quran is condemning the idol worshippers. Why you were following your ancestors? Quran says, أَوَلَوْ كَانُوا لا يعلمون أولو كان آباؤهم لا يعلمون شيئا ولا يهتدون. Even if their forefathers didn't know nothing and they were not guided, still you want to follow your forefathers? What's the meaning of this ayah? That means that you are not allowed to follow your forefathers if they were ignorant, if they were not guided, like idol worshippers. But if your forefathers, by the grace of God, were guided, they knew, they had the knowledge, and they were guided, and therefore you learned from your parents that there is Tawhid, there is Ma'ad, and all the rest of usul-e-deen. Nothing wrong with that. Inasmuch as there's nothing wrong to say that I learned namaz Shah from my father, because my father, by the grace of God, was guided. I learned namaz so from my father, because my father was. There's nothing wrong with that. So note, Quran is condemning following the forefathers and ancestors who were ignorant and were not guided, not any forefathers or ancestors. Inshallah, this is clear.